Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live stream today. I'm super excited to be chatting with you guys about a topic that I think everyone deals with at some point in their lives: moving. Moving can be extremely difficult and extremely stressful, right? If you have a lot of things that have accumulated over the course of your lifetime, if you bought a lot of things in your life and you are storing them in your room and in your physical space. And I want to show you today how I keep track of all my different items so that I can make it so that it's super simple and super easy for me to move when I need to, right? When it's time for me to move to my next location, whether I'm going to my next workplace, my next location in life, whether you're a student going to, school, moving for first time overseas, or even just to another city, I want to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to keep track of everything that you have, keep track of what you want to keep, what you want to sell, and just really have less stress from now on when trying to deal with all these different moving parts of life, especially when you're already so I guess stressed or so focused on finding that next new location that you're going to be. Really, a blocker for you shouldn't have to be the things that you are trying to take with you. So without further ado, let me switch over to my other screen where I'm going to talk about the why, what's, and hows. So if you're familiar with our stream kind of, I guess, style, basically what I want to do every single week is build something together with you guys. I want to show you guys exactly how I build a system from 0 to 1, right? And a system being something that will help me really systematize and create a workflow around, whether it's something that I do every day, something mundane, something very profound. But the idea is that we want to make our life as simple and as automated as possible. And the way that we can do that is using workflows and creating systems. And primarily, I try to create things inside Notion, so there's a template to follow. And hopefully by the end of today, what you guys will all have was a very succinct, very nice, very clean and organized way to keep track of your items when you're moving, right? But also to keep track of them throughout the lifetime of having something, right? Where does it go? How do you want to use it, right? What is the original item? What's the price of it? So that if you do want to sell it in the future and you want to be frugal, you want to give it away, you know the value of the goods that you have, and you know how you're gonna, essentially provide it and pay it forward moving, to the next person, right? So just keeping a really good track of that. Okay, so as always, we go through the why, what's, and how, so you know exactly what you're going to get out of all this build with me. So the first thing is why. Well, we can get overwhelmed when packing out for a move, right? We can end up thinking that everything is important and end up taking junk with us when we go to the next place. I'm sure you guys are all no stranger to this, right? We think, hey, we're packing, but oh no, like we might want to keep this, we might keep that, and we're making last minute decisions when we're putting things inside boxes. And the last minute decisions essentially make it so that we take a lot of stuff that when we take over, we're like, oh shoot, we could have thrown this out. Why did we throw it out only in a new place? I've been definitely a victim of this mindset a lot. And then we also want to keep our house organized, right? And make sure things are in the right place and know which box things are in the end. Oh my gosh, I have so much frustration when I get to a new place and I'm unpacking, and maybe it takes me a week or more to unpack. But in that meantime, if I want to find something, I have to go inside a box, dig to the very bottom of it, try to figure out which box it is all in. Maybe sometimes it's labeled, sometimes not. Sometimes labels are unclear. But I want to have a very clean and clear way to know exactly which box has what thing, which luggage has what thing, which backpack has what thing, and it just makes my life a lot easier, right? So I think the way to solve this, the only way, is to have a Notion database to organize your clutter. Of course, you can also build this in other database building tools. I don't know, Airtable, whatnot. I use Notion because it's nice and easy to do. But of course, I'm going to show you the way to build this in any database, in any system. Even you can use it on paper and pen if you wanted to. So how are we going to do it? We're going to create a database, and we're also going to create some views. So the database properties, I've already listed out here, the things I've thought of already. And I'm going to show you how I build a database from scratch inside Notion so that you can accomplish the same results that I'm currently doing right now for you guys. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us inside the stream. I'm always happy to answer any questions you might have, always happy to be helpful as we can. If you want to continue the discussion, we're also going to have a conversation about this inside the community as well. So don't hesitate, don't be shy to come and ask for more questions. So the first thing we're going to do, usually when we add a database, we can use the plus icon here, or we can do a slash. So I'm going to show you both. So if I do plus, then I can do a database. So I'm going to type database, and I'm going to start with a, usually I start with a table view, right? I'm also going to show you with a dash instead. So if I do dash or slash data, so we can see it's the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new database in line. So it's going to create a table for me. Very simple, just like that. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and call this one probably it's like called home inventory. It's like the way I like to say it, right? Okay, and then so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start adding properties, right? So we have the name of the item, that's fine. We can also change this to item specifically. We want to multi-select for type, so we're going to do that right here. This already comes with a multi-select, right? So if you see this is a multi-select. We're also going to add another thing. So we're going to say this is going to be a type, or location rather, location. And actually what I like to do is we call it select. We type location in there. Now we have a location select property. And then we're going to have a select property for condition. So select property for condition. And then we're going to have a select property for desire. Okay. And then we're going to have a URL for original item. And I'm going to explain each one, by the way, as we go along. Give me a second, though. We're going to have a status property for our status. And then we're going to have a posted on, which is a multi-select. So posted on. And then finally, we're going to have a date. So we're going to have a date for pick update. Okay, so as always, as I like to do these things, I'm going to show you exactly why we have each one of these properties. So purpose. So location is to know exactly where each item is. So for example, I might have locations like, kitchen. I might have locations like, master bedroom, right? I might have locations like storeroom. But the idea is that whenever we have an item that we want to keep track of, we want to make sure that we know where it is so that when we do want to pack it up or we do want to sell it, we know where exactly to go to get it, right? So it's quite straightforward. The next thing is type. Well, type is very multifaceted. Type is for us to do some categorization. So categorization of the type of item it might be. So it's easier to store them in one place, whether or not you're selling or not, right? So for example, we might want all our kitchen utensils in one place, right? We might want our stationery in one place. We might want our electronics in one place, right? So this one's completely up to you how you want to categorize. But the idea is that you're able to really just figure out which type it is. And later on, if you want to box things up, well, it's super simple, right? You say, hey, in the kitchen, I have all these utensils. They're all going to go in one box. So you're going to write two things, kitchen, utensils. Super simple, right? And now you know exactly where things are. So that's how I usually will think about things, right? Then the next thing is condition. Condition is quite simple. Is you want to keep track of the condition of an item, right? Especially if you're about to sell it again, sell it out, or give it to someone else. You want to know like, hey, well, these things are kind of beat up. These things are kind of doing well. So you kind of want to know what condition things are in. So the, I guess the condition that items are in. So for example, lightly used, brand new, etc. So sometimes you might have brand new items you never used before. I'm certainly guilty of this where I bought something, I might not be using it for a while, and in the end, I realized I don't need it in the first place. So I might want to sell that, right? I might want to give that away. So we want to have brand new. I think there's also like new. There's also going to be lightly used. And then very used, I think is another one. Well used. Yeah, well used. And then hopefully you don't have anything beyond that. So that's like beaten up and whatnot. So that's how I would think about that. Desire. So what do we want to do with this item? And do we keep it or sell it? Right. So this is very good for us to keep track of like what we want to do with items. So it's either you keep or you sell. Simple as that. The original item. It's good to have a record of the original item so that we know the value of how much we bought it for. So this is especially useful if you're someone that likes to kind of, I guess, resell items, right? So you know the original item price, you know how much it's kind of costing for, so that when you resell it, it doesn't end up being something that you underprice a lot. I think this happens a lot, especially when people move out of their houses, their parents find their Pokemon cards, and they have no idea the value of that card, so they end up selling for cheap at the garage sale, right? I think that's a bit of a shame. If you have a data table like this, you might be able to avoid that, right? You can say, hey, this actually is a very expensive card. It's a very expensive collector's item. And you are able to track actually, the current market price of an item like this. So actually, you can say original item or like market price. It's up to you. But like record original item, so by the way, I want to say like the intention of me creating these databases and these systems is always so that you can always delegate someone else to help you manage these things as well, or at least have a combined effort, a collaborative effort in managing this. What good is it if you know exactly every item inside your room and every item inside your life and how much it's costed, but the moment you leave that space or you ask someone else to help you organize, they know nothing, right? They don't know how to help you, and I think that's a bit of a shame. And I want to create a environment, a situation where anybody can just plug in and see, okay, this is how the house inventory system is set up. This is how I can jump in and help. This is all the different properties I can add to this, so I can help keep this organized and also make sure I know when I have a new item coming into the house where I might want to put it as well. So status is what are we currently doing with this item, right? So this is I'll show you how this works actually. So for status, for me, I think of it as a few different things. So obviously, you can still use the to do and progress completes, but like I'll have different ones. So one version of a complete is like in use, right? In use. So this is something that, oh, it's complete, it's in use. Another one is sold, right? And then another one would be, let's see, another one would be, yeah, just in use and sold, right? Or packed, I guess, packed. So we have three different statuses for complete, right? So either we're still using it, so we can't pack it up or sell it. We packed it up, so we can't use it or sell it, or we're sold it, so we can't use it or pack it. Simple as that, right? So in progress, so there's a few. So either we're listing this so that it's ready to be sold, or we can say it's packing, right? So like we're currently just trying to figure out where we're packing that. And then not started, it's just not started, right? So we haven't figured out where it is. Actually, I might even add one more in progress. So reserved. So reserved. So listed, reserved, or packing. So reserved by someone else that they want it. Listed is that, hey, I do want to list it out. It's something that I want to sell. I'm not started. It's just like I don't know. I haven't really like started planning this use yet of this item, and we should probably plan that. Yeah, or actually, I think the easiest way then is maybe not started. It's just in use. Let me do it that way. And I'll explain why. Because I assume everything is in use, right? Is that correct? No. Okay. In use is the end result. Okay. I think that's the better way to say it. In use is the end result. So not started is just really I haven't started even looking at it. Posted on is where have we shared this item, right? So this is simple. So like your local like Facebook Marketplace, right? You might have something like Carousel in Singapore. We have an app called Carousel where we sell secondhand items. Kijiji, Craigslist, all these different things. You can put them all there, right? Kijiji or Craigslist. You might also have things like friends. Or shared it with your friends, but it's up to you, right? How you plan to share it, or Instagram, whatever. Yeah, so maybe some have Instagram. So just whatever you want, wherever you want to post in your life, just feel free to put that in there. Pickup dates is when we have scheduled. So sometimes when you sell something, people might not actually be ready to pick it up yet. So especially like for me right now, I'm going to show you I have a lot of stuff that I want to sell, and because I'm about to move to Japan. So I want to have a lot of different things to sell, and I need to have a scheduling system of like, okay, this is reserved for when, right? So when people have reserved to pick up an item, right? So very clear and direct. So that's a pickup date. So I'm going to show you how now I create views so that this is all easier to see instead of just like this whole blob of like mess. And so I'm actually going to bring up a few examples from my actual life, right? A few examples of stuff that I'm actually trying to sell so that you can see how I think about this. So I'm just going to move something from a different page. Let's see. I'll move this. So this gets to move to here. I'll move it to here. Okay, so I have a plant there. I'm going to move this tissue box as well. So move to Moving homes, make it stress free. There we go. I'm also gonna do like a bed, maybe. No, I'm gonna do some like interesting things so you guys can see how I use this. So I'm gonna move this to here as well, and then maybe I'll do this one as well. Okay, so I have a few examples for you. So I have 4 different items, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and so one really good workflow that I have, I want to share with you guys is you might have pictures. Actually, I recommend you taking pictures of your items, right? So take a picture of your items, put them inside your Notion database, simply by putting them into the page and then dragging them into here. Or you can upload directly from your phone directly into this Notion database for home inventory. It's up to you as well. And the way I like to also label all my different databases is I like to have an all view. So there's a table view for everything. So I can see everything in one go. And so I can organize it easily. So for example, I have a plant, right? So where's this plant? Well, this is in my master bedroom. This tissue box is in my bedroom as well. This is my bedroom, is my bedroom. So far I'm just using bedroom examples. The plant obviously is a plant. So garden, right? Gardening, I think is the term. Tissue box is going to be a home toiletries. And then this is a home decor. And then this is a home decor as well. So you can see we're already organizing it quite well. Condition of these, so actually I have images for these. So I can open up, you can see that, oh, looks quite nice. I have a tissue box here. It looks kind of cute. So these are all like kind of lightly used, I think. So like new, like new, like new, like new. So this is a lot of cute stuff here you can see. So like having images is super important, right? So that you can be able to keep track of it for yourself, for anyone who's with you that needs to find something, but also for yourself to sell in the future. Having those images on hand is super helpful. So desire, I want to sell this plant, I want to sell this tissue box, I want to sell this oil diffuser, and I want to sell this decor because I can't take it with me to my next place. Well, this wall decor is actually quite sentimental. I might keep this. Depends, right? We'll see if someone wants to buy that. But these all have original items. I'm not going to find them on stream right now, but I will go ahead and find them at some point where then I know the original price of it. I know what price I might want to set. Oh, that's one thing actually I forgot. So status, if we want to sell it, then we want to say price. Price, and then this is going to be number, right? So dollars. And then we want to say, we want to know how much value we would be willing to part from this item for. So that's super useful, right? So if you can kind of put a price to something, you can kind of know what is your bottom line, right, for selling something. So I'm going to use Singapore dollar because I'm in Singapore right now, but you can do your original home currency as well. So I'm going to put that right here next to price, next to original item. So I'm going to set prices. So again, I'm not going to do any specific prices right now. I'm going to go ahead and just figure it out over time. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to put a specific price right now. But later on, when we have the original item, right? Let's say, actually, let me show you guys how it's done. Okay, so let's say I look for a koala bear tissue box. I don't know. Let's see if we can find it. I know I bought this one from, so you see, someone already has something similar. Like it's definitely very different from the thing I have. I bought from Donkey. Let's see. Yeah, I got from here. So let's see how much originally it was from. 1490, right? So perfect. So now we have an example. This is 1490. So I'm going to copy the image address. So we have here. So the image address here is, we have original item. Oh my gosh, this is so long. I think the best thing actually might be to make this a, so see, I'm learning as I do this, right? I'm learning how to improve it. So I might make this just a image. So files and media. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to embed a link. We're going to open image new tab. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Let's just save it somewhere. It downloads. Now I can go ahead and upload something. And then I'm gonna upload that image. I definitely put that in the wrong place. And then now we know that the original item was 1690. So 1690. And then now we know that our sale price could be something below that, right? Because then obviously we're not going to sell at the same price. But now we know like what the price kind of looks like. So that's perfect. And then we can put the status. Right now everything's in use, right? So but we do want to list this. So I guess we're gonna put it as not started until we list it, and now we can figure out where to paste that. And then once we post that, then we can have a pickup date. So that's just one like kind of example I want to show you, right? But I want to show you all the different views. So that's the first view. I'm going to show you a different view now for gallery. So we can see an all view for our gallery, and it's nice like this. We can see things like our we're probably going to show the status. We're probably going to show the type. And what we're going to do is we're going to start sorting this. So we're going to sort the type together. So all types will stay together. I'm going to group this all by location. So we know exactly where everything is, right? So everything in master bedroom is all these things, and it's sorted by the respective categories. And we have our statuses here. And then so what's going to be super helpful is we're going to actually end up figuring out like, okay, not only are we, seeing this all visually, right? Because everything is put, all the images are put in the page, right? And then if we show the gallery view, we can see that the card previews and page content. So that's super awesome. And then we can see everything. So that's one view I like as a gallery. I want to also show a packing view and a selling view. So these are going to be board views. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a board view. We're going to call this one packing. So we want to know what we're going to pack and where we're going to pack it. So we're going to first do a group, not by that, but I want to group by instead I want to group instead by the desire is already there. So I need to just group by location, I think. And then the other axis of this, I'm going to group this by type, and then I'm going to have the subgroup by location. The reason is that I want to kind of matching this so that it doesn't be too off-putting for me when I can switch between the two views. It's kind of still maintaining some similarities. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show a property. I'm going to still show status so I can tag the status once it's done. And I'm going to do a filter here that I'm going to say only for things that I want a desire of keeping. Perfect. Now I'm going to duplicate this. So not just packing, I also have a selling one. And the selling one's going to be super fun, actually. I really like it because I'm also going to be able to see like the total, I guess the total cost of everything that I'm selling. So that can also give me an idea for budgeting. Well, I'm going to be able to recoup this much money from selling my used items. So what we're going to do here is we're going to filter. So the desire is sell, everything that's for sale here. But instead of just, I don't need a subgroup. I don't need a group for location, for type rather, but I need a group for where it's posted on. So now I can see it. This is all the different places I'm about to post them on, right? And I can then drag them over when I am posting on them. So I'm going to show that. So first I'm going to color everything. It's easier for me to see. But for example, like right now, like I'm going to put this on the left side, right? So I haven't posted these on anywhere, but the moment I post them on like Craigslist, right? I can drag it over there and post it there. I can also drag it onto Carousel, right? And say I'm posting it there too. I can drag it on both. So oops, I can drag it on both. So the best way to drag it on both is just to open it and then type in here, so post it on multiple places, for example. And I can see that, okay, for this one item, I posted them on 3 different places. So it's super simple, just like that. So what I want to do now is I want to then also make sure that I have a nice way to, I guess, yeah, we can also show the images here. I just want to show you guys an example. So I want to also show you guys that if you wanted to, you can also show images of the page content in here. So it's easier for you to see like, okay, and we'll list this thing right here. And because we're listing actually, something that might be very helpful is also showing things like the price, right? So we can see the price there. And then we can also probably see something like, let's go ahead and see things like our pickup date. So if there's a pickup date, then we can see our price, right? And pickup date. So for example, let's say this was already posted on Craigslist, right? And then let's say that this has a pickup date and a status. So the status is going to be right here. How do I want to organize it? Location first. I want type next. I want condition next. Desire next. Original item. I want the price next. And I want status posted on pickup date. Let's say pickup date was in a few days. So what's going to happen now is I'm able to see that, hey, this is something that is going to be picked up. And we are like, we know when it's going to come. So pickup dates, it's reserved for this date. So I think that's really cool. I'm really happy about the way that we can organize this. I might not actually show the pickup date there, maybe. I'm deciding on it because I usually like to keep three information per card because then it gets a lot more convoluted and complicated. So what I like to do as well is I would like to show like, okay, well, then I can maybe create a new calendar view, right? So for example, I might duplicate this and then I can see reserve, right? So now I can have a calendar view to see like which day people have reserved things, right? And then we can show, again, properties. I want to show information about this. So a certain price is being sold there. You can probably see a status, so reserved on this day. And then once it's sold, then we can just switch this and say it's sold. So you can see like really the Notion organization system can be so in depth, right? The moment you know how to use it, the moment you know how to organize your thoughts. And I just really highly recommend starting off with like just mapping out what the properties you want are, what the different views you might want. Like the different views is essentially use cases, right? I have a use case for seeing all the different items in my home. I have a use case for packing everything up to know which box and which location I should be using it and packing it up, in which way. I want a view to know what I'm going to sell and I'm posting it, right? So this is not really selling, it's just posting, right? Posting for sale. And then reserved is like this. And then maybe later we might even have a breakdown and I'll just show you this for fun, right? I might even have a breakdown. I'm going to duplicate this and say sale breakdown, right? So for example, I might want to make this into a table. And then I'm going to say, hey, I want to see all the items that I have a desire to sell, right? I want to calculate the sum of all the costs there, of all the potential sales I can have. And instead of seeing it by location, I want to group this by status, right? So for example, I want to status this by group. So for example, I have, in progress, one item. So like if I was able to sell all the things that are to do, I might make a certain amount. So let's say this was like, I don't know, $20, this was $30, this $60. Okay, I'm gonna make $110 if I sell all these things. So like it's gonna give me motivation to actually go ahead and do that, right? Likewise, in progress is this, and then if I sold a lot of things, I know exactly how much money I had been able to sell and make from being able to list them out and get rid of my junk as well, right? But one man's junk is another man's treasure. So then be able to also share what I have with the world and let them be able to enjoy the items that I do have. So yeah, this it's a quite a simple way to think about things. Once you get into the hang of things, I hope that the way that I'm presenting to you guys and the way that I show you guys how I'm building these systems helps you think about like, oh, all these different things I have to manage and think about in my life. This is how I can easily not have to worry about them so much, right? And be able to just, in one go, organize everything as much as you can, right? Create a very simple but very clear system so that you can then go ahead and make decisions off of that and have a very clear use case. So yeah, that's it for me for now, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about this build, let me know. If you want to download this templates, you can go find it inside our toolbox. I'll probably share it for free, so you guys can go into the toolbox. Or if you want to just build it yourself, follow along, right? I showed you all the building steps. You know exactly how to do it. What's left is for you to try. So without further ado, please take care. Have a wonderful start to your